Yo, what's good, comrades? Welcome to a deep dive into the heart of Mother Russia. Hassan Minhaj here, ready to drop some knowledge bombs about a demographic crisis that's got Russia shook. This isn't just a minor hiccup, it's a full-blown emergency. We're talking about a population nosedive so steep it would make a Siberian tiger think twice about jumping. Imagine a graph that looks like a ski slope, but instead of snow, it's filled with the tears of demographers. Russia, the land of vodka, bears, and questionable election results, is facing a baby bust of epic proportions. This isn't just a blip on the radar, it's a seismic shift that's shaking the very foundations of the nation. Think your dating life is rough? Try finding a partner in a country where the population's shrinking faster than a bowl of borscht in a gulag. It's like playing musical chairs, but with fewer and fewer chairs every year. But hold up. This ain't just about awkward first dates and empty strollers. This is about the very fabric of society unraveling. Imagine parks without the laughter of children, schools with empty desks, and playgrounds that echo with silence. We're talking about the future of a global superpower hanging in the balance. A nation that once stood tall on the world stage now faces an uncertain future. Fewer babies today mean fewer soldiers, scientists, and, dare I say, Instagram influencers tomorrow. The ripple effects of this demographic decline are far-reaching, touching every aspect of life. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to dive deep into the wild world of Russian demographics. This isn't just a story about numbers, it's a story about people, culture, and the future of a nation. Get ready for a story with more twists and turns than a game of Tetris played by a drunk bear. From the icy tundras of Siberia to the bustling streets of Moscow, this is a tale you won't want to miss. Let's break it down, fam. Back in the good old days of the USSR, Russia was bursting at the seams with comrades. We're talking 148.6 million people back in 1991. But then, communism went kaput, and the population took a nosedive faster than a MiG with engine trouble. Fast forward to today, and Russia's population is hovering around a measly 143 million. Measly, you say? For a country with ambitions of global domination. That's like trying to win a staring contest with your eyelids glued shut. And it gets worse. Experts predict that by 2050, Russia's population could plummet to a paltry 130 million. That's fewer people than in Bangladesh, a country roughly the size of Florida. Not exactly the kind of statistic that screams global superpower, am I right? So, what the heck happened? How did Russia go from a nation overflowing with babushkas and borscht to a demographic desert? Well, my friends, it all started in the tumultuous 1990s. Picture this, the Soviet Union collapses, and Russia is thrust headfirst into the chaotic world of capitalism. Economic turmoil, check. Political instability, check. People drowning their sorrows in copious amounts of vodka, double check. In this environment of uncertainty and fear, having babies was about as appealing as a weekend getaway to Chernobyl. Birth rates plummeted faster than the ruble against the dollar. It was a perfect storm of bad timing, bad luck, and bad economic policies. And the hangover from that era? It's still lingering like the smell of stale cigarettes in a Soviet-era apartment. But the 90s were just the tip of the iceberg, my friends. The challenges Russia faces today are far more complex and deeply rooted in its history and socio-economic fabric. Russia's population woes run deeper than a shot of Stolichnaya. It's a cocktail of issues that have been brewing for decades. Today, the country is grappling with a trifecta of demographic doom: high mortality rates, low birth rates, and a steady stream of young people fleeing for greener pastures. This isn't just a recent phenomenon. It's a crisis that's been building up over the years. Let's break it down, starting with the Grim Reaper. Russia has a surprisingly high mortality rate, especially among working-age men. Blame it on vodka, bad luck, or a healthy dose of both. The point is, people are dying faster than they can say, "Na zdorowie." The mortality rate is alarmingly high, and it's not just the elderly who are affected. Young and middle-aged men are particularly vulnerable, often due to alcohol-related illnesses, accidents, and a healthcare system that's struggling to keep up. Vodka has long been a cultural staple, but it's also a silent killer. The social and economic pressures faced by many Russians only exacerbate the problem, leading to a vicious cycle of despair and dependency. Then there's the issue of low birth rates. Economic instability, lack of social support, and a general sense of uncertainty about the future make it difficult for young couples to start families. The point is, people are dying faster than they can say "na zdorowie," and those who are left behind are not having enough children to replace them. Then there's the brain drain. Remember all those bright young Russians who were supposed to usher in a new era of prosperity? Yeah, well, they're packing their bags and heading to places like Canada, Germany, and even, gasp, the United States. Who can blame them? The allure of better opportunities, higher standards of living, and more stable political environments is too strong to resist. These young minds are seeking a future where their talents and ambitions can truly flourish. The exodus of young talent is a significant blow to Russia's future. These are the individuals who could have driven innovation, economic growth, and social change. Instead, they're contributing to the success of other nations, and even, gasp, the United States. Who can blame them? Opportunity knocks, and it's not knocking on Russia's door. The country is left grappling with a shrinking workforce and a brain drain that shows no signs of slowing down. Opportunity knocks, and it's not knocking on Russia's door. The future looks uncertain, and the challenges are immense. But understanding these issues is the first step towards finding solutions. Section 5. Can money buy you happiness and more babies? So what's Russia to do about this demographic death spiral? Well, the Kremlin's got a plan, and it involves throwing money at the problem like a drunken oligarch at a strip club. Enter the Mother's Capital program, a government initiative that doles out cold, hard cash to women who pop out babies like it's going out of style. We're talking serious rubles here, enough to buy a new Lada, or maybe even a down payment on a dacha in the countryside. And that's not all. The government's also offering increased maternity and paternity benefits, housing subsidies for young families, and tax breaks that would make even the savviest accountant blush. They're pulling out all the stops, hoping to incentivize Russians to get busy in the bedroom. Section 6. Back to the future, traditional values. Get a modern makeover. But cash is only part of the equation, my friends. The Kremlin knows that to boost the birth rate, they need to win hearts and minds, not just wallets. And what better way to do that than by appealing to good old-fashioned Russian values? Cue the propaganda machine. From billboards plastered with images of happy families to TV shows extolling the virtues of motherhood, the government is on a mission to convince Russians that babies are back in style. They're even promoting traditional gender roles, encouraging women to embrace their inner domestic goddesses and men to channel their inner providers. It's a blast from the past, with a modern twist. Section 7. Love is in the air and on the books. Cohabitation gets real, but wait, there's more. The Kremlin's not just targeting married couples in their quest for population growth. They're also setting their sights on a demographic that's often overlooked. Unmarried couples living together. That's right. Cohabitation, once a taboo subject in Russia, is now being embraced by the powers that be. Why? Because love knows no bounds, and neither does the government's desire for more taxpayers. So if you're a Russian couple shacking up without a marriage license, don't be surprised if you start getting bombarded with pamphlets about the joys of parenthood. The Kremlin's got its eye on you, and your reproductive potential. Section 8. Ukraine and beyond. Why a baby boom could be Russia's secret weapon. Now, you might be thinking, Hassan, why is Russia so obsessed with making more babies? Is it just about economics? Well, my friends, it's about more than just rubles and kopecks. It's about power. Sure, a growing population can boost the economy. More people mean more consumers, more workers, and more innovation. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. A large population also translates to a stronger military. In a world of geopolitical uncertainty, having more soldiers to defend your borders is crucial. And it's not just about defense. A growing population can also mean more influence on the world stage. More people can lead to more cultural and political clout. It means more soldiers to defend your borders, more workers to fuel your economy, and more influence on the world stage. Imagine the economic boost from a larger workforce. More hands to build, more minds to innovate, and more consumers to drive demand. And on the international front, a larger population can mean more diplomatic leverage, more voices to advocate for your country's interests, And let's not forget about Russia's ongoing conflict with Ukraine. A shrinking population means fewer young men to conscript into the army, which is not exactly ideal when you're embroiled in a protracted war. A shrinking population means fewer young men to conscript into the army, which is not exactly ideal when you're embroiled in a protracted war. The conflict with Ukraine has highlighted the need for a robust and replenishable military force. Without enough young men to serve, the strain on the military becomes evident. So, while the Kremlin might not admit it publicly, the push for population growth is also about bolstering Russia's military might and geopolitical clout. The Kremlin understands that a larger population can provide a steady stream of recruits for the military, ensuring that Russia remains a formidable force. Babies, the ultimate weapon in the 21st century. It might sound strange, but in the grand chessboard of global politics, population growth can be a game changer. So the next time you hear about Russia's baby boom, remember, it's not just about families and children. It's about power, influence, and the future of a nation. Section 9. Will Russia rise again? The clock is ticking. So, there you have it, folks. Russia's population crisis is a complex issue with far-reaching consequences. The Kremlin is pulling out all the stops to reverse the trend, but only time will tell if their efforts will be enough. Will Russia succeed in engineering a baby boom and reclaim its status as a global superpower? Or will it succumb to the demographic death spiral and fade into irrelevance? The clock is ticking and the stakes couldn't be higher. Stay tuned, my friends. This is one story that's far from over.